Good morning, YouTube friends and family. Greetings from East Tennessee. Today we're going to be hiking Whiteoak Sinks, which is a place that I have been by but apparently didn't even know it was there. So anyway, before we get started, let me go ahead and give you some directions on how to get here, and those are coming up right now. If you're driving from the Maryville-Alcoa area, you'll pass through the city of Townsend, and then you're going to come up here to the Townsend Y. If you turn left, that takes you back towards Gatlinburg, but we're going to actually be going right today towards Cades Cove. Tunnel, just for a reference point. Alright, so the parking area is here on your right, and it only takes about 6 minutes from the Townsend Y to get to this point. So it's not a very far drive at all, but let me get situated and we'll get started. Alright, so welcome back. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be hiking up to Whiteoak Sinks, and it starts at Schoolhouse Gap Trail, which I have done before. And just give you a shot here, there's the parking area. So I do have a video on Schoolhouse Gap, but I didn't realize that there's another trail up here. I had seen it, but I had forgotten about it. And I had a couple of YouTube friends actually put some comments in. So Melanie, about 4 months ago, had mentioned it, and I tried to find it on my map, and I could see it, but I didn't see a trail for it. So I really didn't think that much about it. And then I had another YouTube friend, Dwayne, made a comment a few days ago. So I did a little bit more research, and I think I figured out where it's at. But before I get started on that, I want to give you a shot down here. This is right at the very beginning of the trailhead, so if nothing else, you can come down here and take a look at this bridge, which, I don't know, I think it's just pretty awesome. Just the old stonework, and then you're down here by the water. So even if you're not able to hike this trail and you want to come up and visit the Smoky Mountains and get some good pictures, this is a good place to stop. There's water along the way up here, and then you've got the bridge like I mentioned. But anyway, both Melanie and Dwayne had made comments that this was a good place to hike, and I had to go back and actually watch my Schoolhouse Gap video to remember where this trail veers off from, because I couldn't find it on my map at all. So I used the All Trails app and was able to find it. And so we're going to go check it out today. So let me go ahead and switch over to the chest mount and we'll get started. And just a couple minutes into the trail, get to cross over this little bridge that they've made. And this is still Schoolhouse Gap Trail. So it'll take us a little bit to get up here to the other trail that we need to turn on, but you can see there's a little bit of water here. And just to let you know, the beginning of the trail is fairly flat, and then all of a sudden you hit an incline. So just be prepared for that. It's not horrible. And as you can see, the trail is fairly wide. And this is used as a horse trail as well. But, and I'm huffing and puffing this morning because for some reason I'm trying to race to get there. I don't know why, but I do that all the time. But as you can see, this does start to go uphill, and it'll take its toll on the old heart and breathing fairly quickly, unless you slow down and pace yourself like a normal human being, which I tend not to do for some reason. Alright, so I'm about 20 minutes in to the hike, and you come up to this intersection. So, Turkey Pen Ridge to the left. I do have a video on that one. I think that's the first trail that I ever did for YouTube. Not very exciting, but it's a decent trail. And then this is Schoolhouse Gap that we're on. And let's see, Chestnut Top Trail 0.9. I feel like we're not going to go that far until we hit this other point, but I felt like it was just right up here. But anyway, took about 20 minutes from the beginning of the trail to get to this point, just to kind of give you a reference on how much time it'll require. Okay, so I was right. It did not take that long to get here. It's literally like 30 seconds. So I don't know if you can see it, but that's the sign of the intersection that we just left. And this is the point on the trail that I did Schoolhouse Gap before. Of course, this is where we're at, and I continue to go forward. It ends at like a cabin up there. And then I got to this point, and I was like, what is this? Because there's no signage for it. I mean, it just says no horses. So I didn't go down this trail because I didn't know where it went. And then this is when I got some feedback from Melanie and Dwayne on YouTube in the comments. And I'm hoping this is the right way to go, because I don't, like I said, the map I've got does not show this trail on it anywhere. It's got the Whiteoak Sinks listed as a location, but it doesn't have a trail, like a physical trail. All right, so there's a trail counter right here. So that's interesting. I wouldn't think that this trail would be that popular that they would need a counter on it. But let's see where this goes. I don't really know. All right, so I don't know how well this trail is maintained, but as you can see, there are some trees that are down. So you just got to navigate around those. Well, this one is definitely off the beaten path. Little more remote than what I expected. And a water crossing, which in the summertime wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't care to get my feet wet, but even though I've got waterproof boots, this water is deeper than the height of my boot. So let's just hope these old logs hold up and I don't fall in. Oh, there we go. Because it is 38 degrees this morning. It is supposed to get up to 60, so it'll be much nicer this afternoon, but that would be a miserable hike with a cold, wet boot. Here's another one. Water's definitely not as deep, and it could go across that log, I would assume. But I think I'm okay to cross this one. This is definitely more remote than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I think with just the fact that Schoolhouse Gap Trail was so wide and that there's so many people on it, I thought there'd be enough people that venture off on this one that the trail would be a little wider. But as you can see, it is not. So some more trees here to navigate. Haven't really hit anything too bad. Not yet, anyway. Of course, I probably just jinxed myself. Well, with these types of rock formations on this trail, I would expect that there should be a cave or something back here. I mean, I can't guarantee it. I had seen some information where there might be. Definitely a spot back there in the rocks, not a cave, but maybe if we're lucky, we'll find one back here. like to climb up there to the top of that, but we may come back to that later. Alright, so I made it back to this rock face that I passed earlier, and I'm just going to walk up here and see if I can climb up to the top. Don't know how hard that is going to be. Yeah, probably could have just come up this way. And it'd have been 100 times easier. And just want to try to get a view of where I'm at. I'm going to hang on to this tree so I don't go off, but as you can see, I'm up here. And now to get back down without hurting myself. Well, looks like a relatively large sinkhole here. Not that that's of major interest to anybody, but I think it's just neat when you're out in the middle of the woods and it's fairly level ground, except for if you're going uphill or downhill and all of a sudden there's like a giant hole. Alright, so I did read online that you'll come to a fork, which I believe this is it. These rocks I would assume is the marker. And there is a light trail going that way and looks like a little heavier path this way. And the comment was to go to the left first and check that one out and then come to the right so that you wouldn't be disappointed. Apparently there's like a little waterfall over here. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to find out. But anyway, that's your kind of your marker. And I'm about, I don't know, 45 minutes into the total trail. It took me maybe 25 minutes to get from where we broke off onto this one, back there where it said no horses, to get to this point. So it was like 25 minutes to get here. We're going to go to the left, as suggested in the comments by another hiker. I think it was on the All Trails app that I saw that. Alright, so we're coming up on something because I can see some signage here. The path, it looks like it actually goes back this way. We'll walk back there in just a second, see how far that goes. But I think this is kind of like the finale on this section. But like I said, I'm seeing some signage here, so let's see what this says. And it looks like they've got maybe a cave down here that's been boarded up so you can't get into it. Alright, so notice, no entry beyond this point. Area closed October the 1st through May 31st to protect critical habitat. Alright, so there's a sign over there, so that must be this perimeter. And my guess is, I don't know if you can see it, I'm not going to go past that point because they've asked me not to. And so they've got looks like a small cave. I don't know if I consider it a cave or not, but an opening that is boarded off. And it looks like there's some other places up here in the rock formation. And I don't know if that's based on, if it's like, you know, there's no bears that can get through there, so I don't know if it's bats or other small animals that are maybe right now hibernating. I'm not 100% sure. But I was really hoping that I could kind of go over there and look at it, but I'm not going to, since I am a rule follower. So let's turn around and go back this direction and see if this goes anywhere. But you can see, I mean, this is pretty much wide open. And my guess is that probably in the spring or summer, there's probably a lot of flowers growing in here, and it's very, very, you know, beautiful with the different flora. But this is February, and there's not a whole lot going on right now. And let's go this way. the cages that they put out on a fairly regular basis. That one doesn't, I don't know if that one's operational or not. They look like it's got some wire in it, but those are designed, I believe, to help capture the wild hogs that are in the area. I have yet to see one, and I'll be honest, I hope I don't see one, because they're not the friendliest creature around. But walk back here real quick. I'm not going to go too much further because I think we've kind of hit the extent of that particular trail. But there must be a larger population of the wild pigs back here, because this pen right here that's one of the biggest ones I've seen over here. It's typically been those individual ones. And then looking at this one, I mean, that's a fairly significant setup. So I'm not going to get too close to that, but I did want to come over here. I've noticed a barrel. Not sure what that would have been used for and why it would have had these indentions in the bottom of it, but oh well. Just kind of give you an idea of what this area looks like. Pretty flat. But let's head back here to where we came to the fork in the road, and we'll go the other way and see what's going on in that direction. Alright, so we're coming back up on this fork in the road again, where this rock is at, and we're going to go this direction now. So this would have been the right hand fork when we got there. I went to the left to begin with. Let's go see what's at the end of this one. Well, I can hear some water, so I feel like we're getting close to something. Let's see. So if this is the end of where we're supposed to be, I'll leave this footage in. However, if I find out that this goes on farther, I may edit this out so you don't have to just watch me walking up here to wherever we're going. But this does appear to be the end on this particular path, which literally it's only like 3 or 4 minutes from where we turned off back there. Alright, so this sign says, notice area beyond sign closed when bats are present. Well, I'm not 100% sure when the bats are present. I'm just going to walk up here. I'm not going down very far because I don't want to intrude on the bats, but I do want to kind of get a little better view of this. I'm actually like really surprised. This is a lot nicer than I expected. Alright, so this is as far as I'm gonna go, because I don't know if there's bats down in there or not, and I don't want to disturb them. But well, actually I'm going to work my way down here so we can get a little better shot of the waterfall, but it is muddy and slick, so you see me bite it here in a second, you'll know what happened. So there does appear to be a cave back beyond the waterfall, which I to be honest, I would love to go down there and investigate, but due to the signposting, I don't want to mess with the chance of disturbing the bats, so, because I don't know when that is. But I will have to say, this is a real pleasant surprise. I did not expect this at all. I'd heard that there was a waterfall, and I know this isn't a huge one, and I will say we've had a lot of rain lately, so that's probably making this more impressive than what it typically is, say, in the summer. But wow. Kudos to the person that left the comment on the All Trails app to go left to see that little cave first and then save this for last, because it would have been a major disappointment to see this and then go the other direction. So absolutely phenomenal. You'll kind of see where we're at down here, the trail that came down to it. That is pretty cool. And didn't take that long. I mean, that was an hour from when we started the trail to get to this point. So not bad at all. Just gonna head up here to the side of this trail real quick to see if we can get a different view. Just a tad higher. So that's another good shot of the area. All right, so that was Whiteoak Sinks, trail that I didn't even know existed. So a shout out to Melanie and Dwayne for the comments on the Schoolhouse Gap video that I did, or I would have never even known about this. And so to Melanie, I apologize. You put those comments in 4 months ago and I just didn't realize this trail existed. So thanks for that. And Dwayne, thanks for bringing it to my attention, because I'll tell you what, that's a pretty awesome sight. I wasn't expecting it. So definitely worth the hike. Took like an hour to get here. You know, 2 hours round trip, not that bad. Definitely enjoyed it. It's a little bit secluded, which is good. I don't feel like this is one that's going to be overly populated. You're probably not going to run into a lot of people, which I actually prefer. I like to get out here in nature and kind of be by myself with it. But yeah, I totally enjoyed this one, and I hope you did too. If you did, please go ahead and hit the like button. And I would ask you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way when I put out a new video, you'll get a notification. And then feel free to leave some comments if there's something I missed here in this area, or if there's some other trails that I might not be aware of, because I would love to check them out. You know, it's February, so we're just right around the corner for spring, and it'll warm up and I should be able to get out a little bit more and try some different trails. I would recommend that you get the All Trails app. That's what I use to help navigate to find this one. And it's a free download to get it, but to get like the full functionality, you do have to pay for an annual subscription. I think it's like $35. They were running a special around Thanksgiving or Christmas for 50% off, so I got it for this year for like $17.50. Well worth it. I've used it several times. It gives you directions on how to get to the trail, and then once you get on the trail, it will map your distance, your time. It's pretty good. And then if you get off trail, it'll give you a warning to let you know that you need to get back on the trail itself. So anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed that. I sure did. A pleasant surprise. Oh, one last reminder before I forget. Starting March 1st, you do have to have a parking permit in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So March 1st of 2023, if you're going to park anywhere more than 15 minutes, you do need a permit. So make sure you go online. It's like, I think, $5 for a day permit, $15 for a week permit, and then I've got the annual pass, which was $40. But anyway, just be aware of that, because that's a new rule that's starting March 1st, and I don't know if everybody knows about that or not. So just keep that in mind. But until next time, we'll see you then.